Welcome back, my boys and girls. So today we got a pretty awesome one. So today we're going to be taking a look at the HD Retrovision cables for the Sega Genesis. Boom. Pretty awesome stuff. Component works magic. That's what I am talking about. Previously, we took a look at the HD Retrovision Nintendo cables that work for the Super Nintendo, also work for RGB modded Nintendo 64s and PAL region GameCubes. And ooh-wee were the results amazing on those systems. I didn't have a PAL GameCube, but the Nintendo 64 and the Super Nintendo, oh my god, beautiful stuff. So these cables are awesome. A lot of people are looking forward to these. They are currently available on CastlemaniaGames.com. If you use my code PIXEL10, you get them a little bit cheaper than you would if you go direct to HD Retrovision, and you get free shipping. So that is hell of amazing as well. But today with this particular cable, what we're going to be taking a look at, real quick look, is the visuals we get out of a Sega Genesis Model 2. That is what these cables are designed for. But we're not going to stop there today. We're also going to take a look at the Sega Saturn and how it performs visually out of those cables. You might be saying, well, they don't use the same port in the back. Well, that's true. So what HD Retrovision has is a series of additional adapters. These adapters are made specifically for the Sega Genesis Model 2 component cable. Pretty sweet stuff, making it a more versatile set of cables than the Nintendo ones, because the Nintendo ones you can just use for Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and PAL region GameCubes. Nintendo 64 has to be modified. Super Nintendo is what they were mainly made for, so that's what you had to deal with. I think this is pretty awesome because you're given a bunch of additional options. For example, this one is made for the Genesis Model 1, but can also be used for other systems. You just have to look at the compatibility charts. This one's for the PlayStation. Pretty sweet stuff. This one is for the Neo Geo AES. Pretty awesome. We've already looked at this on a stream, but we're going to revisit this one, do some comparisons, because man, this is amazing. The Neo Geo, through certain outputs, you get rainbow banding, and it can still look good, but the rainbow banding just kills it for me. And this solves that problem amazingly well. And then this one right here is for the Sega Saturn. Like I said, some of these cables have additional compatibilities that I did not mention. You just have to look at the compatibility charts to find out what other systems they work for. But, you know, the ones that they're mainly advertised for, that's what they're normally meant for, but they do have other compatibilities, so peep that out. I'll have links for all this stuff in the description so you can get more information. So today, pretty much just what we're looking at is going to be the Genesis and the Sega Saturn. Pretty awesome stuff. Before we do that, there is one thing I do have to note with these cables. There is a compatibility test that you can do to make sure your TV will work with these, because not all TVs will work with these cables. First off, obviously, you have to make sure your TV can take component inputs, obviously. The next thing, though, is that not all TVs, even if they have component, do they output 240p over component. So that is the thing you have to test for and check and find out before you purchase any of the HD Retrovision cables. So I'll have links to all that in the description so you can make sure, because you really don't want to buy these and find out that your TV is not compatible. Being honest with you, I've tested these on several TVs. I never even looked at the compatibility charts, or did any kind of test. It just worked on every TV and monitor that I used it on. But I'm lucky on that regard, because not everybody will have that same compatibility. So peep that out first before you grab these. So let's go ahead and begin and take a look at these two systems and how they look. Let's do it. So here we go, guys. We got the Sega Genesis plugged in with the HD Retrovision Genesis Model 2 cables. And I do say, man, looking at this on my screen, it is flipping amazing. It looks sharp, vibrant. You know, I don't have any kind of lag or anything weird like that. This just really looks amazing. It's got to be one of the best options, you know, especially for those of us who are in the USA who can't use, SCART cables over, their TV. You got to either have some kind of converter, which a lot of those cheap Chinese converters don't really do a great job. I can attest to that. I don't care what anybody says. I own several of them, several different brands, and they all look like crap. They wind up looking better than composite, yes, AV, but there's always this like blurriness for me, and there's definitely input lag. So this, you've got no input lag introduced whatsoever. Pretty amazing stuff. You can use this through your OSSC if that is something you're into. Put some scan lines up in there, double your lines and whatnot, just make it look even better. Pretty awesome stuff. So I think this it speaks for itself. If you're looking for the best possible output solution for your Sega Genesis and your TV supports 240p over component, this is definitely the way to go, in my opinion. It just really looks great. But like I said, you do need to make sure the compatibility of your TV is there for 240p over component. That can be an issue for some, but hopefully those of you who are interested, this is the perfect solution for you. It does work magic, I really gotta say. Hopefully this translates well over, the video encoding through YouTube and whatnot, because sometimes it seems like I lose some quality even though I record at the highest quality that I can. And like I said, I really think this cable is very versatile in that you can get all the additional adapters and use it for other systems. I was really excited that I can use this for my PlayStation 1 and my Neo Geo. So that's something that's awesome for me. Especially the results out of the Neo Geo are just blow me away with the sharpness and crispness that I get. And then, this isn't just for those of us with HD TVs that have component. If you have an older, CRT that works with component, bam. I mean, this is going to be a great solution as well. Save these animals. There we go. Alright guys, so I didn't really want to highlight a bunch of games. We'll definitely be using this in streams and other videos to highlight like ROM hacks for the Sega Genesis, or other specific games that we wind up doing just for the fun of it. This, I just wanted to kind of give you a little taste of what it looks like and the performance you get out of the visuals, which I think are amazing. So let's go ahead and switch on over to the Sega Saturn and see what to do there. Let's do it. Okay guys, so here we go. We're going to be testing out a couple games on the Sega Saturn. I figured a 3D fighter would be kind of cool to check out, and then maybe a 2D fighter as well. As the Sega Saturn was great in both ends of the spectrum there, 2D and 3D, so why not peep it out? So we'll do a quick match, Virtua Fighter Kids. I remember having this game back when it first came out. It's kind of fun. And then we'll toss in a 2D game. I'll find a good one to take a look at. But so far, this is really crisp looking to me. I'm not sure how to play this game, but I don't know if my recording will be doing justice, like I've stated earlier, but on my monitor in front of me, this looks flippin' amazing. It is sharp, it is crisp, it's bright. The one thing I do want to point out is that with the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation 1 in particular, using these cables, there's a little toggle switch on the side of the cable for brightness. For the PS1 and Sega Saturn, I did have to toggle that over, otherwise the games looked really dark. So just wanted to point that out. That's why oh snap. That's why the switch is there, for specific, concerns with the darkness of the game. Could depend on your TV, could depend on the system, I guess, but for me it's just Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 were giving me those issues as far as, just the brightness. But it's cool, the little toggle switch fixes that. Bam, full and a ring out. Take that. So pretty awesome stuff. For me, it looks amazing. This is probably the best way I've seen my Sega Saturn on a modern TV. But like I said, the other thing is we kind of want to see what a 2D game will look like as well. So let's go ahead and pop in a 2D game. Here we go, guys. Vampire Hunter Darkstalker's Revenge. Let's peep this one out and see how a 2D fighting game looks using these cables. So far, you know, the pixels looking good on the now loading screen. What? But yeah, this so far is looking nice. Crisp, bright, vibrant, like I've stated. This is probably one of the best ways to throw your Sega Saturn on a newer or older TV that supports 240p over components. Definitely these animations and pixels look very nice through this cable. I've used a cheap SCART cable in the past for my Sega Saturn. I was very disappointed in the output that I was getting. It was very blurry. 2D fighters wouldn't look this crisp. Bam. But what do you guys think? This to me looks really crisp. The Sega Saturn is an awesome system. So is the Sega Genesis. Sega Saturn is great for your fighters, both your 2D and 3D fighters. They had a lot of awesome games for this system, and that's mainly what I've been collecting is fighting games for the Sega Saturn. And it's just a blast playing these games on this console. And to have this cable, this HD Retrovision cable, work in its magic the way it does, without me having to do anything special to play this on my TV, I think is awesome. So definitely if you're interested in these cables, like I stated, we've already looked at the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 using the Nintendo version of the cables. And then today, we're looking at Sega Saturn and Sega Genesis, and very impressed. And there are the other adapters for the Sega Genesis Model 1, for the Neo Geo, and the PlayStation. And there are compatibilities with other systems on some of those cables, such as PC Engine, RGB modded PC Engine, stuff like that. So just look at those compatibility charts as far as what these cables will work on. They will work on what they are advertised for, but then if you look a little deeper, there's some extra compatibilities for specific systems or specific mods. So all that information will be down below. If you're interested in picking these up, castlemaniagames.com. Use that code Pixel10 to get that 10% off. Free shipping for anything over $20 within the US. I believe international, he may have started doing free shipping for anything over $50. But peep that out for sure. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Smash that like button, subscribe, do all that sweet stuff, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye. Boom.